and thankful for our exclusive studio partner, Cafe Kubal. You can go to Cafe Kubal Monday through Sunday all week long. You can find them on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street. You can also, and those are all in Syracuse, New York. You can also catch them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location of North Syracuse. Jam-packed show here for you today. So for those of you here with us in Central and Upstate New York, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe, you're with us on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. You're also with us on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage where the MixLR feed is embedded there for your internet streaming radio. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start the show off as we do every Wednesday inside of Dolphin time. This is going to be an all-new Dolphin Dive with Adam Zaczkowski rejoining the show, the head coach of your LeMoyne swimming and diving team, as him and I will speak coming off of the NE10 championships. A fantastic weekend. I was following it. I hope that you were as well. You can take to social media or LeMoyneDolphins.com for more information. And of course, we're going to be talking about it today with Adam Zaczkowski and his very successful program of LeMoyne swimming and diving. Then we'll jump into right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I will be unveiling my exclusive menu item for the first time ever. Mother's Cupboard, one of the staples of Syracuse, New York, has allowed me the opportunity of creating my own menu item that will be available every day of the week from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. during their normal operating hours. You'll be able to order this special. I'm going to be unveiling what it's called, what it is, what's in it, all the good stuff, and that'll be coming up at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street in Syracuse. Hopefully some of you are on your way there while you watch and listen to the show, and you can have yourself some breakfast over at Mother's Cupboard. Then you're going to hear in hour number one, toward the tail end of hour number one, my one-on-one conversations with Benny Williams and Jesse Edwards of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team following a win over a top 25 ranked school in the nation in NC State. And Gina Castelli will be joining me with LeMoyne Roots from UAlbany as we talk about UAlbany. We mentioned Binghamton and Beth Ann Shapiro-Ord. We talk about Mary Grimes and the LeMoyne women's basketball team, LeMoyne in general. We talk about her Buffalo Bills, the Super Bowl, as well as the halftime show, music, and more, as sports meaning life is truly always apparent whenever I get the opportunity to speak with Gina, and she'll be on screen with me, which I'm very excited about. So, with that being said, speaking of being on screen with me, it is now time for us to jump into the Dolphin Dive here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And today's guest rejoining me here on the broadcast, Adam Zaczkowski of the LeMoyne swimming and diving team, an alum of the team, an assistant coach of the team, and now the head coach of the program. Very successful jump off here to being a head coach. Adam, how are you?
Dan, I'm doing fantastic this morning. How have you been?
I've been good. Getting over being sick and having to deal with that over these past few weeks. But beyond that, I had the opportunity to sit down with some of your student athletes on the team, and people can go back and watch that special on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT and on Facebook.com /WakeUpCallDT. Had a fantastic time with the opportunity of speaking with Bilal Ali as well as Caitlin Longway, and they were speaking with me the day that you were leaving. And now here we are coming off of that. Paint the picture for me, because from my viewpoint, from, farther away, obviously, I got to see everything you posted, everything was going on, record up, record down, and it seemed like a very productive, a very fun, and a very notable weekend for LeMoyne athletics.
It was a great weekend. Hey, but before we go, when you get your stuff at Mother's Cupboard, check on the wall for a couple former swimmers up there who did the frittata challenge. So they ate it all. They got the plate on the wall. So Next time you're up there, check out.
I will. Of course.
There you go. Yeah, that was a handful of years ago, but those guys, they crushed it. They ate the whole frittata, which is kind of crazy to think about. So, but back to the swimming.
Yeah.
When you spoke with Bilal and Kate on Wednesday, we had come off of our morning, walk through practice. Hopped on that bus. We found ourselves in some Worcester, Mass. We got there around 7:30, had a good meal. Everybody shaved down that night. Swimming thing, that's what we do. Next morning we were hosted by Assumption College in Worcester to do another walkthrough, and then everything kind of got going Thursday night. And when you're coming into a program as the next guy in line, you're confident, but you always wonder, was it enough? Is it enough? And right off the bat with our first swim, it was bang, best time, and best time by a lot. Almost Quinn Edholm dropped almost a minute in the 1,000. So you get that kind of initial pop, and all of a sudden you're like, huh, all right, well, let's see where this goes. She ends up placing, scores points for the team. That's followed up by Ryan McMahon, who last year was third in the conference, but we kind of saved him a little bit in distance swimming this year. He's out there in the edge in lane 10, and in swimming, everybody gets their own lane, but typically the middle of the pool is where the faster swimmers congregate, are seated. And he's out there lane 10, way out an island, and he goes and gets second place. And so all of a sudden, we're on. It's time to go. And we didn't really look back from that point. Our women's relay, 8 free relay was fantastic. Our men's 8 free relay, and then it kind of spiraled and cascaded all the way through the weekend with lots of podium placements. So all conference performances, school records in the women's 200 freestyle relay, the men's 100 breaststroke. And, you don't want to forget anybody here, but there were just so many memorable performances that, I'm really proud of the guys and the girls. I told them, I said it was an honor and a privilege before that Sunday night final to be a part of this journey with them. And it really was. We came together, we glued at the right time. And before that Sunday night final, to be a part of this journey.
Oh, and can you hear us, Adam?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, so no, go ahead with what you were saying. You cut out there for a second. You said to be a part of this journey.
Yeah, we had our pre-session team meeting, and we were talking about kind of where we had come from and where we had gone, and I told them I was all proud of them, and I was honored, and it was a privilege to be a part of this journey with them. And we closed out the weekend hard on Sunday night, and it was fantastic all the way through.
And like you said, to jump off and have so much success so quickly, so early on, right at the beginning, like you said, okay, all right, big shoes to fill coming in, as you had spoken about. And then as you see that happen, and then another thing, falls in favor, and then you keep going and you keep going. I mean, there's been a lot of work that you've done, a lot of attention to detail. Speaking with the student athletes, they said, it was hard for them to kind of wrap their head around, and still at times difficult for them to get up really early in the morning, get ready to swim, and that's how they're starting their day. But all of this work, all of this emphasis on making sure that those little details are taken care of, and that you have essentially worked to teach them a structure that you thought would pay off. Now that you see that it has, when you're reflecting with the team, are they kind of reflecting with you saying, all right, coach, we understand why you wanted us up early. We understand why you asked us to do this. Do you feel like all those blood, sweat, and tears are now kind of coming through with your team saying to you, all right, coach, we get it now?
I'm not sure they're ever going to admit that the 6 a.m. practice was the right call, but that's okay. I'll pat myself on the back on that one. But what it did is it made everybody commit to the same level. It made everybody, those shared experiences build that bonding, that team effort. And so I think we saw all of that come together. I mean, in the past, we've had some not so great morning swims. And for those of you not familiar with swimming, there's a preliminary session in the morning where every competitor swims the event. And then based upon the times in the morning, They determine the finalists, so the top 16 in our women's field or a top 12 in our men's field. And there's been some times in the past where we were, outside looking in, 13th for the men and 17th for the women. And that really stings when you're that close and you don't get that second swim. Yeah. And so we made that pivot, almost a year ago. We were talking about going mornings only. And that really that propelled us to get into those final swims. And that's where the success was made. That's where that sacrifice happened, because we got those swimmers into finals when in the past where we haven't. And that was even with some freshmen, our freshman women. Emma Winters, a freshman from Brooklyn, made finals in a 500 freestyle because she had been swimming early in the morning for 6 months, and then all of a sudden she had to perform in the morning, and it worked. And so, as much as everyone belabors the point, I think we're going to have, unfortunately, I think we're a morning team, and that's what it's going to turn into instead.
And for you, you and I spoke right after you got the job, and we got to do that exclusive conversation at the pool at LeMoyne, and from there, we've had, a bunch of different conversations along the way. Being a part of this team as a student athlete, being a part of this team under Coach Hannah as an assistant, and now being the head coach, I asked you about kind of what your vision was and your mission. Now that you have gotten to this point this season and seen so much success, what are your takeaways when you do look in the mirror and you self-reflect? What are you saying?
I can be better. We can be better. I think that everything's a learning experience and a growth curve. Yesterday morning, we had our LeMoyne Way meeting with our juniors, and we talked about having a growth mindset and continually thinking about ways to get better, realizing that we all have innate talents and that we can foster those and get them better. And so, while yes, we are happy with performances, there are things that we're going to continue to get better on every day. And I think that's that mindset. That's the championship mindset. That's the athlete mindset of, yeah, that was good, but what can I do to get better? How do I sneak out a little extra speed? How do I get a little stronger? And so we're already, having a post-mortem on the season, as crazy as that sounds, and tweaking and revising and really getting excited for, yes, our postseason swimming at ECAC is coming up in 2 weeks at Annapolis, Maryland, and then NCAA National Championships in Indianapolis. But we want to get more people to ECACs. We want to get more people to nationals, and so that it started yesterday, and we keep going till we get to that, till we reach those goals.
And you speak on the ECAC here with Adam Zaczkowski, head coach of LeMoyne swimming and diving, and coming off of a very successful weekend in the NE10s. The ECAC, the importance of that, in your opinion, and to have more life in the postseason, to compete inside of the ECAC, means what to somebody who may not know what it is and may not know of this opportunity? Why do you think that this is a vital piece, and why are you excited about what's to come?
We're looking at it in two separate lights, Dan. First off, that ECAC meet is filled with Division I swimmers and divers who didn't make Division I nationals. So we're going up against, arguably some of the top Division I schools in the country, and we're going to go in there and we're going to fight like heck to get to that wall first, And so it's about working. It's about swimming against better competition. It's having the confidence to get on that block and know that you belong. That's why we want to be there. And again, and you've spoken with our athletic director, Bob Beretta. There's this reclassification noise coming around.
Yeah. And
the fact of the matter is that we need to put ourselves in line with the best competition in the country, so that if and when that reclassification happens, we've been there, we've done that, and so we are positioning our swimmers and divers to swim against the best, because we want to be a premier institution here at LeMoyne.
And you bring that up, the realignment reclassification. I've had the opportunity to sit down with Bob Beretta for more than half a year now about it, and of course, President Dr. Linda Lemura as well. And to have these exclusive conversations, anything about realignment, reclassification, they've trusted to come through me. I've gotten to learn about the process, and I know we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But what are your thoughts on this? Because you've worked closely with Bob, and you've gotten to kind of see what he's about. And Dr. Linda Lemura, she involves herself in a lot of things around campus in a way that presidents typically don't. So both of these leaders have been open about discussing this potential move to Division One or staying Division Two. How do you look at it?
Well, we've had discussions with swimmers, current swimmers and divers and recruits about what does this all mean? And there's kind of two takeaways in swimming. One, there's no defense, so I can't stop the other team from swimming and diving. So there's no X's and O's, man. So doesn't matter who we swim. We put our best line up. They put their best line up. And we talked with our recruits coming in, and the biggest thing is I said, listen, if we reclassify, the bus just makes a different turn out of the parking lot. That's what it comes from us, right? We will continue our plans and programs. We will continue to strive to be the best in the country, and it doesn't matter who we swim. So the good news is that we're ready to go wherever we end up, and we're going to be swimming and diving like mad to try to be the best that we can.
And you bring it up, and I love that, the way that you described it and painted that picture that you can't stop the other team from swimming and diving. There is no defense. So in your world, when you see that, obviously you go up against good talent now, you'll go up against good talent then, if and when that happens. But you, as a head coach, has a different way of kind of seeing this move if this move were to come about. And, at the same time, the way that you're preparing your team, it's kind of in the back of your head, but you also are the type of person, from my point of view, that is training them to be the best of the best. In your mind, and the way you kind of go about things, the way I hear, the student athletes describe you, the way you describe kind of what you're doing, I don't see a Division II coach or a Division I coach. I see somebody who wants to get the best out of these student athletes, who wants to put them in a position where they have more life later on down the road. And I see that your vision is farther down there. And I know that, Bilal talked about it too, is what the hope is and what the desire is to, be one of the best out there and get to, represent in big ways. So, I don't see your vision as what division am I in? This is how I'm going to coach. I see this is Adam Zaczkowski. I'm going to be the best coach I can be at LeMoyne, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. So I would imagine for you, not a lot would change.
No, and because Director Beretta and President Lemura have been so open about it, there's no real surprise from the student athletes, at least on the swim team, of what can happen. And so we've kind of digested it. We've accepted that this decision's outside of our hands. It doesn't it, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to be the best we can. And yeah, so coaching doesn't change. It doesn't matter what level you're at. You still want the best for your swimmers and divers. And I suspect any coach is going to say that. It doesn't matter NAIA, JUCO, D1, 2, 3. Everyone's striving to be the best they can be. And so we're going to keep doing that. And we're going to be just, we're excited to just get back in that pool and swim as hard as we can and be the best that we can be. And that's what it comes down to for us.
Yeah. And like you said, being the best you can be. A lot of great moments that we've been able to talk about here this morning in the NE10. A lot of success, records broken in different pieces. I think my favorite, because if you go and if you follow Adam on Twitter at AdamZSwims, you can go and see all of these messages and the updates that came in real time. I believe that my favorite one, though, was when it was one of the first ones when it was like up and down. It was like, this was the record, now the record's gone. So, that to me, seeing right now looking at the Ryan McMahon post that you put up here and some of the other pieces that you had. But, when you put these things up here about, the freestyles and whatnot, there's there was passion, even if it was short. There was passion in the message. There was fun in the message. There was excitement in the message. And to anybody that was following it, it was this awesome thing about seeing it going, well, I wonder how they're doing. And it was almost immediate that I was like, oh, well, that looks like, okay, that's a record setting day. Okay, now that happened. Now this happened. So for you as a coach to kind of, bring it all full circle from what we were talking about, for you to experience all of these different student athletes, all of these different moments and pieces in swimming and diving come together, and for you to not take away and say, okay, we did good here, we did okay there, but to know that there were so many different areas where, like you said, LeMoyne standing at a podium, they're placing, to see this team and not just a few individuals succeed. For you as a coach, does that make you kind of like a happy dad in a way, so to speak, to see so many things going on?
This morning at practice, one of our swimmers, Jen, her zipper was stuck on her jacket. She's like, "Can you help me?" And of course, the zipper was all corroded because it's been in the swimming locker room for, gosh, I don't know, a couple weeks. And she's like, "Oh, you totally dad jobbed that." You know what I mean? You took it like a dad, and I got the corrosive cleaner out and the lubricant, and we got it all open. Yeah, sometimes I have to be dad to some of these guys and girls. Sometimes I have to be the shoulder to cry on. Sometimes I have to be a friend. Sometimes I have to be the mean guy. And I would say that when we get performances like we do, it justifies the effort that we all put in. It justified the emotional effort that goes in as a coach. It justifies the physical effort that it goes into being a coach. The sacrifices that you make, it makes it worth it. Some people go, really? And I say, yeah, it does, because you get to see that raw, pure smile out of some of these swimmers' faces that I don't know if many people ever get to see that out of people. And so when you get to see those little glimpses of passion and excitement, and when truly everyone's armor is stripped down and you see who they really are, it makes it's hard to put in words, but it makes all of those things that we did worth it.
Yeah, and like you said, the early practice, the early swim, all of these things that you go through to make that worth it in the end as you get set for the ECAC, success in the NE10s. This has been a great opportunity for me personally to have met you when you were at in Bob's office, then to see you become the head coach, to find out that was happening, then get to talk with you, and then get to speak on that vision and that mission, then to carry out into the season what your thoughts were, and to speak with the student athletes, and now to speak with you again coming off of the NE10s. There's an evolution here, and I love it because you're so passionate about it and you care so much about it and you're such a professional about it, but there's also a fun piece of it. And what I love that you posted is that your boys were there glued to their screen watching dad and the team go after it. And I really love moments like that. And I'm sure, and it's weird. It's like they're not my kids, but it gets me choked up, right? It's like I see somebody else's kids supporting their parents and I'm like, oh God, someday for me. So I got to imagine that kind of chokes you up a little bit, because I'm a sap to things like that. And you see that picture and it makes me kind of just sit back and say, wow, if one day I got my kids watching me, and, because my dog is a human being in many, many ways. And yep. my dog that I had before, Shady, when I was on ESPN radio and in the score, my parents would turn on the show in the morning, and my dog would actually get up on their bed, walk over to the edge of the bed, and sit her face right next to the radio as close as she could be, and she would just sit and listen. So I do know that, there's that experience, but I saw that picture with your boys, and honestly, it hit my heartstrings. So I'm sure that was special for you.
Yes. So the picture we're talking about is I have my oldest on our dining room table, kind of kneeling on the chair, looking at a computer screen, and I have my youngest, laying on top of the table with basically his nose on the computer screen. And Erin, my wife, sent it to me, and it hit home, and yeah, that the tingles of all of it, with kind of how I'm going to call it visual media is going with more streaming online. When they watch, we go to a hotel and they have to watch, TV, there's commercials and they're like, what is going on here? So they recognize more of us watching things, visually streaming. And so, Aaron talks to me about how they saw dad on TV and they saw the swimmers that they know on TV. And so for them, it was the biggest spectacle on earth. And it's kind of neat to know that they're so into it, that they're tied in. Kind of in a funny story. So last week, Noah was telling everybody. Noah's my oldest. He's 6. Noah was telling all his friends at school that Daddy was moving out on Wednesday. And yeah, no, we were just going on a hotel, but he just didn't know a better way to talk about kind of what was going on other than Daddy was going away.
Yeah.
And but he knew that it was more than that. And they know that kind of this is the lifestyle we have. And, I'm thankful that Aaron and Noah and Owen are supportive in everything that I do, because without them, I really couldn't do it.
No. And it is a beautiful thing, right, to have that love and compassion and that desire behind it all. When you have that support, it truly makes it magical, because, I feel that, right? You do everything on the road and you come home, you put the duffel bag down, and whether it's mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, guardian, husband, wife, kids, when you get to open that door and somebody sees you, big smiles, tears in their eyes, arms out wide, I'm so proud of you. Those are the moments, Adam, and I appreciate the fact that you've allowed me the opportunity to share in these moments with you and the team. And now that there's ECACs, I think that you just wanted to build out more time for you and your student athletes to take over Dolphin Dive, and I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Listen, in the club world of swimming, it's always about making that next meet. It's about getting more swims.
Yeah.
And we've earned more swims. So we've hit those goals, those kind of internal swimming goals. We've made that next level and that leap. And so, yeah, we're going to keep going, fighting for more swims. And, maybe we'll sneak another NC2A, an NCAA swim out of hopefully some of our swimmers down at ECACs. You never know, right? Having the opportunity, getting another swim, getting another game, it's all you can ask for. And at this point in the season, that's what we do, keep getting more swims.
Absolutely. So, as I said before, I use the hashtag just keep swimming. So, excited to see this going on. Adam Zaczkowski, LeMoyne Swimming and Diving head coach in this edition of Dolphin Dive in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne Dolphins. As always, Adam, I appreciate your time. Congratulations on the success. Please give my best to the team, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you all soon. Bilal told me that I have some board games and some mystery games to play, so hopefully I'll be seeing you all soon.
That'd be great. Thanks, Dan, for the time today. I appreciate everything you do for us and our swimmers and our divers, and we will certainly stay engaged.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Coming here from Adam Zaczkowski one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, D and DT. But I've done a lot with Bob Beretta over these last few weeks, so we decided to give you a bonus Dolphin Dive in this third opportunity here, or in this second opportunity, I should say. So the Dolphin Dive coming here in week 1 and week 2 of this month, as we wanted to make sure that we spoke with Adam Zaczkowski coming off of the NE10 championships and a very successful and productive weekend with some tremendous student athletes that I've gotten to meet and a tremendous coach as well. So we're going to take a step aside. I know some of you are Jones and Dan. I'm hungry. You promised that you're going to tell me what your new menu item is. I want to eat it before I even know what it is. I'm starving. Listen, if you were me and you knew what I knew about what it is and what's in it, and that you could literally go to Mother's Cupboard right now and order it, you would be hungry too. So we're going to discuss it. We're going to unveil it, what's in it, what it looks like, which is a really cool design. Shout out Pete Green to the owner. And what the name is. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora gets its own menu item every day on the daily menu, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., only at Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street. Something's coming. And you'll find out what it is right after this.
Café Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Café Cabal needs. Café Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsicuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I appreciate your patience here as sometimes calls come into the studio, and so we have a little bit longer of our fast breaks here. So we appreciate your patience for being here with us, and thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. Always thankful that you're here inside of the exclusive Cafe Cabal Studios. Cafe Cabal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse. You'll also find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location in North Syracuse. It is now time inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' to jump to, you see that Mother's Cupboard logo, 3709 James Street in Syracuse. It is time to unveil, and for those of you that are with me live, before it goes to our social media, before it goes anywhere in the world, before it goes to our website, you're going to be the first to see this. The unveiling of my own menu item exclusively at Mother's Cupboard. Nobody else has a menu item out there on that Mother's Cupboard menu. And Mother's Cupboard will have this, and no one else will have it but them. I present to you, for the first time ever, my menu item, available 7 days a week, starting today, from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., all throughout the operating hours of Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street in Syracuse. What you can now get at Mother's Cupboard is my very own spin on the breakfast sandwich. It is bacon, egg, and cheese. You can get your sausage, egg, and cheese, or maybe you just want egg and cheese. But I choose the bacon, egg, and cheese, right? That's the me thing. Bacon, egg, and cheese. And the bread, French toast. Cut, as you can see, like an S. Like an old school, italic, kind of cool S. Pete Green did it. The owner there. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of two great awesome pieces of French toast, powdered sugar over the top. You can cut it up and eat it with syrup, or you can pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. The name of it, you ask? Well, I'm happy to give it to you. Pete and I came together to create this name. I would like to introduce you all to your new favorite sandwich, your new favorite breakfast, your new go-to, the Cuse McMother. The Cuse McMother, available to you right now, this morning. You can go to 3709 James Street in Syracuse and say, I want the Cuse McMother. I want that thing that Dan showed on Wake Up Call. I want my breakfast sandwich. Now, fans, if you know me, you know I am a breakfast sandwich guy. I'm all about the breakfast sandwich. And Pete and the team, they crisp up that bread like I like it. They have the egg. They got the cheese. That French toast has that sweet, good taste. Something beautiful about their French toast. And I love finding good French toast. And then that powdered sugar on top. Your new go-to is at Mother's Cupboard exclusively. 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. Open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And you can get breakfast for breakfast and lunch. The Cuse McMother is now available right here in our community. I am so honored and privileged because Mother's Cupboard is a staple of Syracuse. It is a staple of Central and Upstate New York. They've been featured worldwide. People know when they come into town, I want to go to Mother's. That's what my little brothers said to me. Nico and Miguel, they said, Dan, we got to go there. Let's go to Mother's Cupboard. That was what they wanted to do, and that was the day I met Pete, and that was the day that changed my life when it came to my connection with Mother's Cupboard. So shout out to my cousins for being awesome. They're my cousins. I call them my little brothers because we're more like that. Actually, behind me in the studio is a card from them where they thank me for being their big bro, and they say really, really sweet messages that I just keep there because I love it forever. Families go to Mother's Cupboard. Dates go to Mother's Cupboard. Generations go to Mother's Cupboard. Jason Leone and I are going to be airing a special this week from Mother's Cupboard. The head coach of the Oswego State Lakers men's basketball team that just got his 300th career win. 11 seasons on the court, 12 seasons there because of the COVID year. So we're going to be airing that, and guess what? His grandfather went there, and then you got Dad, and then you have Jason. Generations go to Mother's. Dates go to Mother's. Kids and their parents go to Mother's. Right? You go with your friends to Mother's. You go with your team to Mother's. Like Adam Zaczkowski said, there's members of the swimming and diving team at LeMoyne that are on the wall for taking down the best frittata that I've had in a very, 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 very long time. And I love it. So good. Mother's Cupboard is about this community. This community is connected to Mother's Cupboard in such a special and unique way. And now, Wake Up Call, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, myself, we are connected. Even stronger, as if it could be. We've done a lot of great things over a year plus with Mother's Cupboard. And I thank Pete for that. I thank Amy. I thank the entire team. But now we have the Cuse McMother. Now we're about to make some more history. You can go and get yours today. Cut like an S. How cool is that? The Cuse McMother. My breakfast sandwich with French toast, bacon, egg, and cheese together. Cut it up, syrup it up, or pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Your new favorite breakfast sandwich is available right now, today, Wednesday, February 15th, on site, on location, exclusively at Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street in Syracuse. I'm more than happy, humbled, blessed, thankful to introduce you to the Cuse McMother. So excited. I am so excited. So, Greg said, curious to see if the wake-up call food offering is going to involve eggs. Well, obviously you were right. Greg knows my brain a lot. And what did he say? Hopefully the Golden Arches don't get involved regarding the name. Hey, listen, there's people named MacArthur. You know, we didn't call it the McDonald anything, and it has nothing to do with it. It's just the Cuse McMother. You know, it's kind of like a good old Irish name, right? For an Italian, which is interesting. So, Greg said, I like it, Cuse McMother. Yeah, it's the Cuse McMother. That's what we're doing. That's how we got it. There's no arches connected to this thing. Just fantastic goodness. The Cuse McMother is now here exclusively at Mother's Cupboard. I am ecstatic about this. I am so looking forward to bringing this to you starting today. You can literally go to Mother's Cupboard today and say, I want the Cuse McMother. And they'll say, all right, let's do it. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 fantastic pieces of French toast, powdered sugar on the top. Go and get yours today. With that being said, I now have the opportunity to share with you my conversations with 2 representatives of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball program. And I'm so honored that these gentlemen over the years and ladies over the years will give me their time, because they don't have to. And these conversations and these connections that you build, if you know me, it goes well beyond question and answer. I need something for my story. Clicks, clicks, clicks. It's not about that at all. It's about building relationships. It's about creating connections. And I have had such an awesome time creating connections with so many different teams around the country and around the world. And obviously one of those teams being the Syracuse Orange. And having those connections with the current team, I had the opportunity this morning to share with you my conversations with Benny Williams as well as Jesse Edwards. So Benny joining first, followed by Jesse here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and getting the opportunity to let you hear what they had to say. We had some fun coming off of the victory over top 25 ranked NC State. NC State ranked 23 in the AP poll and ranked 22 in the coaches poll. So a big time win for Syracuse, especially this late in the season. And knowing that NC State's in the top 5 in the standings for the ACC, also very helpful. So here is my conversation coming up, first and foremost, with Benny Williams on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. You're going to hear from Benny, who just appeared here on your screen. Hey, Benny. So, right here. Oh, hey, Benny. Yeah. Dan's still learning opposite. But there's Benny. So Benny Williams joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And very, very much looking forward to the opportunity of sharing this with you. Not a lot of media outlets getting to hear from Benny these days. And Benny allowing me the opportunity because of building relationships. So I want to thank Benny Williams for his time. As always, I appreciate it. I respect it. And it means a lot to me. So with that being said, here's my conversation with Mr. Benny Williams of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team, their sophomore forward. This is what he had to say.
What you could say about getting a win over a team like NC State, who's in the top 5 in the ACC right now?
It's a really big win for us, especially going into Duke on Saturday. Just looking forward to carrying this energy into practice and then carrying that energy that we bring to practice to the game on Saturday.
And, for you this season, just what you could say about, obviously making a role and kind of finding a fit for yourself, just how you personally feel moving forward.
Yeah, whatever my team needs me to do to win, that's what I'm going to do. Whether it's playing 5 minutes, 25 minutes, I don't really care. As long as we win, that's the main goal.
Jesse hit his first career three-point shot. He had never attempted one before, and it goes in. So your thoughts on that? Because that three was the separation in the game.
My thoughts? He shouldn't take another one. Just go out of college 100% from the three. Why not?
What does it say about this team to get a win like this late in the season, knowing obviously how important these next few games are going to be going into the ACC tournament?
I think it just goes back to our the work we put in practice, attention to detail. Our attention to detail is way better than it was before the season started. We just got better. We just keep getting better every week.
That coming from Benny Williams talking about it, attention to detail. That's where he believes this team has gotten better, is their attention to detail, right? Those little things. And that's, those are the things that either get you there or don't get you there, right? It's those little pieces, those little things that come together that you realize you have to change in order to be successful or evolve from or progress from, let go, bring in, whatever it may be. So I love hearing that attention to detail, those pieces are there for them. So as they move forward, we move forward in my conversation now with Jesse Edwards, a two-part conversation, part one coming to you right now.
First three-pointer attempt in your career goes down. Benny told me you shouldn't shoot anymore for the rest of your career. Now stay 100%.
All right. That's the choice. We'll see what happens. If I'm open ever again, I doubt I'll keep it in my hands. I'll probably try to launch it whenever I can, if it's a good shot. But yeah, I didn't plan to shoot it coming in, but I'll take it any day.
Bring me into obviously that play, because you lost the handle, you tipped it twice, you got it over to Chris, he sent it back to you, and then you kind of realized that the clock was at a couple seconds there.
Right, yeah. It was kind of a late shot clock, so I knew it was kind of low. When he passed it out, I had a choice to quickly pass it somewhere. I looked up and I saw screw it. I just had to at one point.
And the three-pointer ended up being the separation in the game when you look back on it. So
yeah, that's a bonus. That's a bonus. I really didn't expect anything out of it. So it was more of whatever happens. So beautiful.
You've had a lot of battles.
Yeah.
So that coming from Jesse, listen, he launched it and it went down, and he, like you said, it's a bonus that 3 points or the separation in the game, 75-72, and his three-pointer, obviously, creating that separation amongst other things that happened during the run of play. This is the continuation of my conversation with Jesse Edwards.
When you know that it's in a situation right now where you can get up to that 6th seed in the ACC for the tournament, how important is that in the back of your mind, knowing that seeding is obviously going to give you more favorable matchups, but at the same time can be the difference between a noon game and a 9:30 game?
Yeah, that too. So it's obviously the main goal is just to win as much as we can, but to know that leading up to the tournament, you want to get as favorable seeding as you can, so you can hopefully pull out 1, 2, or 3 wins, go all the way. So it helps a lot. Right now the focus is obviously the games, but after all, that will be part of it too.
And getting that top 25 victory, obviously getting that finally under your belt, what does that do for a team at this point, this late in the season?
A lot, because like I said a couple times, it's been tough losing these ones. And first of all, to get one that's that close against a good team, and then also top 25 is also an extra boost. I feel like we knew we could do it, but to finally do it, it helps a lot.
Starting 5 ends all in double figures. Just what that says about this group that you have right now.
It's an all-around group. Everybody can contribute. Everybody can play. Everybody can score. It doesn't really matter, who it is. Anybody can have a night. But it just might help everybody at the same time. We all it's not really one star scorer or player, so it's tougher to guard for sure.
That coming here from Jesse Edwards here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And as always, I appreciate all the time that any of these student athletes give, including Jesse, who we've gotten a lot of time to spend time with. So thanks, Jesse. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, a lot of great things have happened here in hour number 1. I can't believe there's more to come in hour number 2, and a great conversation to come in hour number 2. Every time Gina and I have the opportunity to speak with one another, this time we're doing picture-in-picture, so I'm excited to have her coming in here and sharing the screen with me. Gina Castelli and I have a conversation about UAlbany, Binghamton, LeMoyne, as well as her Buffalo Bills, what's to come as UAlbany gets set to move forward here. So many great things coming up. She speaks about her job, what she's learned. We joke around about coaching and how she got out of it, but then kind of right back into it in a way where she could have more time to herself but still get to connect in the world of coaching. We'll talk about LeMoyne, as she spent almost a decade there building up the women's basketball program, and she'll give her thoughts on how the program's doing now under her then assistant, Mary Grimes, who's now the head coach in her second season with the team. And we'll get into the Buffalo Bills. If you don't know Gina, you don't know she's a massive, massive fan of the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about that, the Super Bowl, as well as halftime shows, music, and so much more. You know, when it comes to spending time with Gina Castelli, this is the true connection of where sports meets life here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. A lot of great stuff coming up with Gina. I want to thank Jesse Edwards and Benny Williams. I want to thank Mother's Cupboard for such an honor of being able to have my own menu item there with the Cuse McMother. And, of course, Adam Zaczkowski for joining me here in this edition of Dolphin Dive. A lot of great stuff coming up. Gina Castelli coming up next here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll be back with Gina Castelli in hour number 2. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. Appreciate you being here. And of course, I am picture in picture with one of my favorite humans. If she was a pilot, a doctor, a fellow broadcaster, if she was someone who rode on the backs of whales and found out how to tame them, I'd still have her on the show. And that would be insanely cool. She is on the coaching staff with the women's basketball team at Albany, University of Albany, Great Danes. And this is Miss Gina Castelli. You know her from the moment she got hired, pretty much being on the show from LeMoyne and all of her years there for almost a decade into Albany. And I say this, and you know that I mean it. I love you, my friend, and I'm very happy to have you.
Yeah, boy, we've really, moved up here. It was on the phone, and I thought I was going to be interviewed again on the phone. I'm thinking, oh my God, we're going to be on Zoom. I got to do my hair.
I love it. You got
tell I really did a lot to my hair.
But you got. I mean, I like the the UAlbany thing, and I do have to shout out that Albany made a really good decision. Two really good decisions. They brought you in. The other good decision that they made is they recruited and got my cousin, Sam Tortora, to play on their lacrosse team and was one of their best. And I'm not saying this is family. She was one of their top recruits, maybe ever, on the team. So I want to shout out Sam.
Wow. When did she graduate?
She graduated a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So Sam, just an incredible player, played for CNS and, family, and her little sister, we've gotten even closer. So I just call her my little sister. People just think Fran's my sister, and that makes more sense. So Franny is out there doing it as well. But UAlbany, I'm sure you've made many good decisions, but I know two of them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So happy to have you here, Gina. We're going to talk about the program. We're going to talk about the season. We're going to talk about a few other things. Don't get mad. We're going to talk about the Bills. So
I'm surprised I wasn't on during this football season. I'm thinking, how come Dan's not asking me about the Bills?
I know. You know what it is though, and I meant to have you on, and that was my fault. I wanted you to come on and talk about it, and then we've seen how this team kind of, and there's those weeks where I'm like, I don't know if Gina wants to talk about this one. And then, they get to where they get to. Listen, they had a good season, but the expectations were really high. So we will talk about it. But Gina Castelli, UAlbany women's basketball executive coach for program development and player relations. This makes you sound like you're like some president. You're like an upper echelon. You're an executive coach now. You put executive in front of anything, and people are like, "Uh-oh, she's got it. She's got it going on now. Maybe she can buy lunch next time." You know what I mean? So, bring me into the job as executive coach for program development and player relations at UAlbany for the women's basketball team.
Oh my God, it makes me laugh because the other day I was just carrying the water bottle, so I had so I'm not so sure there's too much executive about it, but my role this is my second year, and my role at UAlbany is mentoring players and coaches. And my role primarily with the players is I kind of oversee the leadership programming of our team, which has gone really, really well. Last year I did a lot on positive self-talk. I think we spoke about this, confidence, culture. We really did a lot on culture. This year we brought in a sports psychologist. So and he's also helped quite a bit in forming a leadership programming for us. So that's really helped me. And then with the coaches, especially with Coach Moyne, I sit on the bench. I give suggestions and game time adjustments. I help out with scouts. I'm at most of the practices, especially during the season. I'm at pretty much all of them. I travel for most of the games. I won't be traveling for this next game. So I missed the UNLV trip because I wanted to be home for Thanksgiving with my mom. So I've tried to make my family more of my priority when it comes to coaching, which is really, really hard, obviously. So, but it's been a great experience. I mean, last year we won the championship. This year we're tied for first in the conference. We have an amazing group of young women that have overcome so many injuries. UAlbany is going through like renovations. So both this SEFQ arena where our home games are and the practice facility is under renovation. So we have not had a floor to practice on. We have a makeshift kind of court that was put on cement floor where the old pool used to be at UAlbany. And that's what we've practiced on. And consequently, that has not been a great floor for us. We've had quite a few injuries. We started out the season with four of our top scorers were out for the first part of the season. So we won the first 3 games with all of our backup players. And then we went through like a little bit of a lull. We had some really tough games, played some top teams. We played Ohio State, BC, Syracuse, UNLV, so we had a tough schedule as well. So, and just when we started conference play, we got most of our players back. And so we've been on a pretty good run right here. But I got to tell you, it's been a really challenging season, probably one of the most challenging for me too, as a coach. Just, we've been on the road. We've been practicing at HBCC. We're practicing at, the Armory, so that we're not on the floor. So we're traveling for practices as well. And these kids are just resilient. I mean, amazing group of girls that, we only have a few games left, and, hopefully we can repeat as champions.
We look at this season for UAlbany, for the Great Danes women's basketball team. And, like some that you had mentioned here, you've had an interesting schedule for you personally, the challenges that you brought up, but also looking at the fact that Merrimack was in the NE10. And here's Merrimack, that's obviously moved to Division I a few years back, and in the NEC, the Northeast Conference. So you had that game against Merrimack. Siena, where you used to coach. So that's unique to you. And then you mentioned UNLV and Ohio State, who was third in the country at the time, Syracuse. And then here comes Stonehill, who was also in the NE10.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like wherever you've been, Gina, it's not leaving you alone. It's like the Siena and the LeMoyne days are finding you. And in a lot of ways this season, a little Gina Castelli revenge tour that went very well in your favor. So congratulations.
Yeah. Actually going to Siena, that was the first time I've been back to Siena since I left Siena. So that was pretty emotional at the end of the game. And that also was a game where we didn't have many of our players. And so it was a tough game, and they are a good team this year. They have a really good group of girls, and but we caught them early, and we won that game. And also going back home to Canisius, my alma mater, and that also was another game where we didn't have everybody back, and another tough game for us. Won that, but that was also really good. So, I'm loving the opportunity to just still be working with kids, and basketball obviously is something I absolutely love. So I'm able to do these things on a much, much, much lighter scale than I was even when I was at LeMoyne. And then I try as much as I can to follow the Finns. Definitely wishing that staff, every time they play a game, I just always send them a text because they're good friends of mine. And I'm just so happy for LeMoyne, the women's basketball program, for those kids, and for Mary and the staff for, how successful they've been.
Yeah. I mean, it's been incredible to see them come all the way up to the top of the NE10 and to be in the driver's seat in a position to do some really incredible things. I don't think it's a maybe or a no on the NCAA tournament. That's a yes. But now there's, all this to come with the NE10 as well. And seen some great games up close, a lot of ones recently inside a Tech Grant court that have been really incredible. And Mary's doing a great job, and so is the entire staff. I got to tell the story of LaToya Baker, which was so unique, and LaToya with you and Mary being on staff, and then you retire from the position there, and then they don't know who's coming in, and then it's Mary, but then there's COVID, and I was like, wow, she went through so many changes in a short amount of time. I would love to get your thoughts, because we did a Dolphin Dive with LaToya Baker as the spotlight. I'd love to get, to spotlight LaToya through your eyes, just how you would describe her as a player and a person, and maybe what you saw in her.
Well, first of all, she's just a great human being. She's a quiet kid, so her freshman, sophomore year, she didn't play a whole lot her freshman year. She got some minutes, and then sophomore year was the COVID year. And that year I had a feeling could be my last year as well. But we maintained, a good relationship, and we practiced all the way through. The practices with COVID were restricted. Sometimes they were 1-on-1, sometimes they were 3. You could work with 3, then we could work with 4. And we were never at a point where we had, we did have 5-on-5 at the end, like in the springtime. But when I knew that I was going to be leaving, one of the people that I was most concerned about was LaToya, because I knew she was going to be, in a sense, the face of the program. She was going to be able to take this team to, maybe to even another level, or to continue the success we had. And I didn't want her, with me leaving, I didn't want her to jump ship either. I didn't want her to feel like, okay, and when I had spoken to the team about leaving, I had gone up to her specifically, and also to Bob Beretta, that we got to make sure that we take care of her, because she's done a good job for us. She's a hard worker, she's talented, she's skilled, she loves the game, and she wants to be at a program that's going to win. And she doesn't want to. I know she didn't want to be with a coach that just was going to come in and just be first time coach and not push her. She knew Mary, and Mary was part of the recruitment of her as well. when Mary was on my staff. So, and I had a good feel for Mary being the head coach. I thought she could do a good job at LeMoyne. And Mary at the time wasn't even sure if she wanted to come back. Financially, it would have been a pay cut for her. So there were some things that, she had a family. So there were some things even for her, she wasn't sure. But when she took the job, I knew that LaToya was going to be in great hands because I knew Mary would take good care of her. And that was really, that was a real big concern for me, is just I wanted to make sure she was taken care of because she was a great kid. And, I knew how much basketball meant to her. She has a real passion for it. And, she's staying another year. She could graduate this year, but she's going to use her COVID year. And I think that says a lot, both about her love for the game, her love for LeMoyne, her love for Mary, and, wanting to stay on another year. I think also, she doesn't obviously have to do that. She could probably go somewhere else and play as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate everything you had to say about her because, I love getting the spotlight in the Dolphin Dive and getting to learn. And I tell Bob Barrett all the time, the AD at LeMoyne, there's every single story has been different, and every single story has been compelling, and every single story has really made me feel like, wow, LeMoyne is bringing in good people, not just good student athletes. And I love that. I love that on the Heights. So you spent your time there. You retired for 5 minutes. And and I say this because when when I heard like, I think I'm gonna, step away, I was like, okay, Gina, okay. And
but I did
you
step
did
away from head coaching. Yeah,
you did, but you're still on a coaching staff, still coaching, still around student athletes, still traveling, still helping in all this stuff. So bring me into these last couple of years, because I was floored at the thought that you weren't going to be there anymore, and it broke my heart. And then it was like, okay, Dan, I'm going to be moving into another chapter of my life. And I was like, with coaching though. And then, and then eventually here we are. You're not far away. You're in Albany.
Yeah.
Friendship spans the test of anything. So, I was going to talk to you no matter what. But it went from this is breaking my heart to, okay, she's staying in coaching, to really, Gina. So, I would love to get your last 2 years' thought, because what I'm trying to say, all jokes aside, is that we're spoiled by the fact that you just can't stay away. And I'm very happy that you didn't.
Well, basketball gives me great joy. I really am blessed, to be able to not only have played the game, but to be able to still be a part of basketball for all these years. So it's really hard for me to just move away from it. But what I can say is that when I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing right now. And, of course, there's many times where I wish that I could be the head coach and making decisions, but there's a lot more times when I'm thinking I don't want to be on the road recruiting. I don't want to be, in the office until midnight. I don't want to have to watch film, 24/7 all the time. So there are some things that, I don't miss at all. But the way I look at what I'm doing now is sometimes when people retire, they try to volunteer. They do other things to keep them occupied. And I thought about, what would I volunteer myself doing? I don't want to volunteer. I've done a lot of community service, even through basketball. And I know that sounds bad. Not that I don't want to do that. It's just that that's not the way I would find my days satisfying. So I took it more in terms of, well, how can I volunteer and serve with the things that I love? And I really thought that this idea that I have of, serving on someone's staff, a younger coach's staff, to maybe jumpstart their career or help them move along a little bit more, not, so that they don't make some of the mistakes I made, even when I was their age, or however many years of experience they have. And I really thought this was a kind of a cool way to do it. So the way that I see it is that, as much as it's, part-time and I'm retired, I also find it to be kind of service and a give back to the sport that I love so much. And, and I'm hoping that, I can do it for more people. It's not that I'm totally locked in at UAlbany. I'm hoping that as time goes on, and I don't know how many more years I have left, maybe I can sprinkle a little bit more dust, not ashes, but dust, on, with some others, because I really, it meant a lot to me when I was growing up in coaching to have mentors and to have people to help me through. And for me, those ended up being a lot of men's basketball coaches that were at Siena. They would come and go. There were probably, I would say, maybe a good 7 men's basketball coaches that went through Siena while I was there. And if it hadn't been for those guys, I'm not sure how much I would have learned, because, I was so entrenched in it. I would ask them questions and they helped me out so much. And then, early on, I had a couple of other coaches, older coaches that helped me on my staff. And I knew how invaluable that was. And I think about that all the time when I look at younger coaches, and I think, boy, I'm just so lucky to have had this in my life. And, and that's where I am right now. I'm ready to give back to these coaches. And so that's really what I'm doing right now. And I'm feeling good about that. So, if I can help in any way, winning championships or helping coaches not make some of the mistakes I've made, I'm doing my job.
Coming here from Gina Castelli, UAlbany women's basketball program for the Great Danes, executive coach for program development and player relations, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You said, I don't know how many years I have left. Hopefully many decades on this planet.
Well, I don't know.
Why not?
Because I'm liking other things now too. So now that I have more time, I have to fill in that time. Golf's starting to creep up a little bit more. And
we got to have you here on this earth, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you could choose one of these 3 jobs, and you have to choose.
Okay.
You can stay in the executive role and, let's say, help 3 different programs.
Okay.
So that's one choice. You could be a head coach again, or you can work in the front office for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh. Well, if I have to move, I wouldn't pick any of the jobs. So if I can do the mentoring and do it by Zoom, I do that. If I can do the Bills thing and by Zoom, I do that. So whatever I don't have to move, I've traveled enough, but I don't know, the Bills thing's tempting. I've thought about that. It's so funny you're saying that, because I would love to spend a day with Sean McDermott just to see how they operate and do their. He's a cool guy. So.
And I know that the day that happens, I'll have VIP all access status.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping you have that. I'm thinking, how do I get tickets to these games? Maybe Dan will have these tickets.
Well, I'll tell you, I've gotten the opportunity to cover the team, been credentialed to the games. I've been to, camp at St. John Fisher, and I know some people have changed over time, hopefully for the better.
Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate it and I like it. And, Jacksonville, when they take those trips and they go up to Buffalo, I try to make it a point to get credentialed to that game so I can see the team down the road. And at the same time, I could see my Jags. And it's funny because Pizza Man that I work with, Pizza Man Pub, Beeville Bills backers, that's the bar. So the Buffalo Bills backers, that's where they go.
Yeah.
So they love Buffalo, and you'll be proud of me. For Christmas, I got the 2 owners' hats for Buffalo, and I got the bar a Buffalo Bills globe that they can keep all the time because it snows half the year.
Oh, my God.
So they have the globe, but they got to put it high enough and hide it enough where it's there, but nobody steals it.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned the Beeville Bills backers because their president, Jeff Cook, a.k.a. Cookie, him and I have done stuff together, and he looked at me like a little kid one day, and it was so like sweet and innocent. He goes, I know you're a Jaguars fan. I said, yeah. He goes, but you're like with us though, like when we don't play you guys, like you're with the Bills, right? Like you're with us. And I was like, is this an invitation? Yeah, because it is. I mean, I do go to the bar and I do chill. I mean, if they're not playing Jacksonville, I cheer for Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I've gotten more of a connection to them through the people and and through you and through my buddy Mark. And so I have more of a connection to the Buffalo Bills now than ever. And I think about you every week when the games come about. And I think about you when Buffalo seemingly has lost their mind. And I also think about you when Buffalo's doing well. So that leads me into, why was Buffalo not in the Super Bowl this year? What happened, Gina?
Oh man, Dan, I do have a theory on all of this, but first of all, I'm so as a Buffalonian, I'm so proud of Buffalo, and just I mean, when you think about everything that the city's been through this year, let's start with the May 14th incident, at Tops with the shootings, and then the injuries that the Bills had to go through, the weather, the relocation of the flights, of the home game to Detroit, the DeMar Hamlin situation. How many things can a team go through? And honestly, personally, I felt Sean McDermott should have got Coach of the Year. I mean, how he handled everything this year was amazing. Yeah. And, I personally think that, when we played that was it the second playoff game against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I was spent emotionally. The day that we were playing, I felt that I am so drained watching these games. I can't even imagine what these guys are feeling, because it's just a few weeks prior, that whole DeMar Hamlin situation. And I really think they were just spent. I really do think that emotionally they had nothing left in their tank. And the way they played, and that game also, you talk about a snow globe, that was a night game and it was snowing and it was dark. It was just ominous to me. I felt that it just wasn't our time yet, and hopefully there will be a time in the next few years, because I do think that team deserved it. If there was no other team in my mind that should have deserved this, winning the Super Bowl, than the Bills, just because of all that. But I can't imagine a team going through that emotion, from the injuries to everything. And then that whole DeMar Hamlin, that was awful. That was just it was great in the end, but it was the way, these guys are young guys, they're young guys and they have to go through all of that. I think that there had to be some psychologically, I think that had to really be tough,
And I mean, I remember I was down at the Cotton Bowl in Arlington at Cowboys Stadium, and somewhere I wanted to be ever since I was a little kid. They're my second favorite team. And I went down on the field. I shot video on the field. I took pictures on the field. I had all of these surreal, chill, just moments on the field that just took me to a place of you're here, Dan. I need you to think about that little kid and everybody that stood in your way and everything that stood in your way and everything about everything in your life. And you're standing here. And I went and stood at midfield. I FaceTimed my dad, my dog, my little girl. I said, look where Daddy is. And she was looking right at the FaceTime, and I got to show her. And I said something to my dad, and God shows himself in so many ways. I was at one end zone. I was looking straight across and paying no attention to what I was looking at. I said to my dad, God really works in some cool ways. As I'm saying that, I'm staring at a Miller Lite sign. My dad's father, my grandfather, worked at Miller. And I just looked at it. I smiled. I looked down and I went, good to see you too, Grandpa. And it was such a moment for me. And I have a video on my phone that no one's seen where I recorded myself walking off the field. And I said, mark my words, I will be back here. And I don't know what I'm going to sell it out for. Maybe it's comedy. Maybe it's something else. But someday I'll be back there in Cowboy Stadium and with a purpose and a mission like I always do. And God will be at the centerpiece of it. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Buffalo. So after that game, we went to hospitality, and I got to thank the Cotton Bowl Classic and everybody involved. It was off the chain. I was shooting pool for 2 hours, having a great time. Food was insanely good. And I was sitting in front of the TV, and I didn't see it in real time. You know, I eat my food, and then I looked up, and I saw the replay when they were still showing the replay. When he stood up and then just kind of fell back. And it was like his soul had left his – it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I just remember praying for hours and just wanting him to be okay. Such a freak injury. They said the way he was hit, like, induced a heart attack. And it's, you know, if you don't stop, like COVID, having people in your lives pass away, seeing natural disasters, being a part of a hurricane, seeing Damar Hamlin, something in your life at this point should have made someone go, you know what? I don't think I'm going to waste this second. I don't think I'm not going to ask that person out. I don't think I'm not going to go for that job. I don't think I'm not going to run this race or go on this trip. I find it hard to believe that people can be alive right now and not understand that every single millisecond should be spent wisely. And Damar Hamlin was a key ingredient to seeing that. God working through this man. I'm so happy he's okay. And Gina, I mean, you've been in sports for a really long time. Nothing's ever happened like that. And I said, in 2023, no matter what anybody says, no matter what negativity is out there, no matter how the media tries to spin anything, in 2023, we went into the new year praying to God together. And I didn't know if that would ever happen again in this country.
Yeah.
I'm happy it did.
Yeah, I totally agree. There was, you know, there was so many silver linings, you know, with that. And now seeing him today, and, you know, he was just interviewed, I think, on Good Morning America. And, you know, he's such a great human being, you know, and such a Christian man, and how he knows that he's serving a greater purpose. And I think that is something that was really striking for me, is that, you know, he had a quote saying, you know, God gave me a great purpose, but I never knew how big the purpose would be until now. You know, I thought it was playing football, you know, but there's a greater purpose. And honestly, Dan, that's something that I've thought about a lot in the last month, is just, you know, no matter how old you are, or, you know, if you retire, there could be much bigger purpose for you out there, you know. And I've thought about that quite a bit, you know, with my own life. And yeah, it's surreal. That whole thing was surreal. Yeah. I have my little dog Lulu here.
Yeah, Lily, if people see me look down at the ground,
so if you're wondering what that,
because Lily is in my studio sitting here trying to get her father's attention. So, you know, and I'm not going to call her a sidekick. We're partners, 50-50. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, even with the dog, you know, I mean, even with Lily, it's like, play with her more, lay with her more, watch more movies with her, you know. Today it was funny. I was in my house and I went upstairs and I said, oh no, I'm sorry. I was walking through and I have Phil Collins' No Jacket Required on vinyl.
Yeah.
Because my vinyl collection will rival anyone, I promise.
Okay.
And so I put that on. You know, I'm a hopeful romantic. If I ever find a woman that's, you know, Gina, if I ever do, she'll have a good life, but I keep finding them ones crawling on the walls. But so I put on No Jacket Required and never realized how much I love the song. And it's so pertinent to today. I don't know what Phil Collins, I think, made this song in the 90s. And the song is Why Doesn't Anybody Stay Together Anymore?
Oh, yeah.
And the song, if you listen to the words, is every bit of today's America in 2023. And I looked at Lily and I said, "Do you want to dance with Daddy?" And she wagged her tail and we danced to the song together. So
Aww.
little things when you hang out with the monster and, you know, you feel like you're doing something good in the world. But it's little things like that. It's putting on the vinyl. Like I had my vinyl records in the basement and I didn't go down there a lot. It's all redone down there, but I don't usually go down there. So then I said, why don't I put it in the conversation room? And when you walk in my house, it's called the conversation room because there's no TV. You have to talk to each other. I know that's weird for people, but you have to. And so you come into my house, conversation room, kitchen, dining room, all there. I put the vinyl record player attached to my stereo system right there amongst, like, in between the two rooms. And so when I play it, you can hear it upstairs, you can hear it downstairs, and you can hear it through the whole floor there when you walk in. So all I got to do is turn on the song, and little things like that, moving the record player. Now I play it every day instead of once a year, and I play these songs and it calms me down or it amps me up. And it's little things like that where I hang out with my dog. I put it on. My mom came over the house, put on a vinyl record of songs that, like, she remembered from the 80s. We had a good time. She was, you know, reminiscing, and just little things to live a happier, more peaceful life where you're not wasting time.
Mm-hmm. Sounds perfect.
So I want to know. Every time I say that, you're always worried about what I say. So I want to know, Miss Gina Castelli, if I came to Albany and you and I are spending a whole day,
yes,
you're going to show me around Albany. It's DT and Gina, right? Hanging out. Tortora and Castelli, which sounds like a law firm. And it also sounds like a really good tandem that probably screenwrites or directs some killer movies. So Tortora and Castelli were hanging out a whole day. I want to know, like, you're peaceful, you're fun. Like, I just talked about my music and stuff. Bring me through a day of what we would do in Albany. I want to know where we're eating.
I don't live in Albany, so
Okay,
you can come to Saratoga.
Okay, so bring me to Saratoga, because you and I have talked about that before.
We would a nice peaceful day in Saratoga would be walking in the state park. So go to state park, and if it's in the summer, we definitely have to go to the racetrack because that would be fun. That's always a happy place. You could bet whatever you want. You don't have to bet. And there's some really good restaurants out here, so I definitely have some good dinners. So I think I'd start the day taking you around. You can walk to the state park from the condo that we live at, and that's about a mile to the state park. Nice. The state park's beautiful. I absolutely love the state park. And if you really like music, there could be some great concerts. So you never know. So it could also be a concert that night, you know. So, but if it wasn't, then, and it was during the racetrack, I'd take you to the track, which is only about a mile from here as well, and just stay for a few races. We'd go to a couple of, you know, places along the way on our way back. And then there's probably about 3 or 4 really good Italian restaurants that would be good to eat at.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend.
I've never been to Saratoga, but I hear all about it, and you just painted even more of a picture for it.
Saratoga's beautiful, yeah.
And I've been told, you got to go, you got to do it, you got to go.
I'm surprised you've never been.
Maybe as a kid, but I've never been. Like, I don't remember if I've been there.
Beautiful.
So
it's a happy place, especially during track season. You know, everybody's adding and happy.
You know what? And I think that I would wear my big hat too. It's just scary.
You should. Everybody else is.
You know what I would do? I would wear a sombrero. I would wear my sombrero. That's what I would do. I'd confuse everybody. I'd be like, my hat was bought at the gift shop on the way here. They told me it was the same as the track, but it's different, and that's okay. So, but I definitely want to come out there. And I will. You have my word. I will do it.
Okay, good.
So, I appreciate you paying for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm kidding. I got you. But so I want to get to the Super Bowl for a second, and then we'll swing back in closing here. Kansas City, I know, blasphemy, but Kansas City for a Bills fan the last couple of years, not fun. Here's Kansas City, here's Philadelphia. Your thoughts on the game itself, and is Kansas City building a dynasty?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm not a big Kansas City fan, so I can't be. But, just when Buffalo gets rid of New England Patriots, now we have Kansas City to worry about, right? Like another guy, another quarterback that's, building a dynasty. I thought the game was really good. It was really entertaining. And I really thought the Eagles were going to win. I wanted the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. And I also like Nick Sirianni because he's a Western New York man. But I was a little disappointed that they made that call at the end. I know that I know that they had to kind of make it, but I didn't think it. That was a tough way to end that game. I thought it would have been better if they just played it out, and if Kansas City scored a touchdown or a field goal and then see what the Eagles could do. It's too bad it ended like that because two really good teams that played really hard and was entertaining, and then it just kind of like ended. It was like that game went back and forth in a sense, and then that one call just took the air out of the balloon in a sense. Like, oh my God, the game's over. So it was to me anticlimactic. It's like it could have been so much better. But
yeah, no, I agree. And James Bradbury, the cornerback of the Eagles, he admitted that he did it.
Yeah, I know he did.
So respect him for that because that happens almost never. But I agree with you, and it's funny that you say that because that's also what University of Rhode Island women's basketball head coach Tammy Reese said. The game just ended. It was anticlimactic. It was a chip shot layup of a field goal, and that's not how you want to see a game end, especially not of this magnitude, especially not when it's tied, especially not when both quarterbacks are playing lights out and making history. And Jalen Hurts, mind you, first quarterback ever in the Super Bowl to have 3 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody talks about Pat Mahomes made the Super Bowl in the first couple, in the first few years of his career. So did Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. So, and I love how Andy Reid was a washed up, should retire coach in 2012. Now he's been to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, won 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I want Andy Reid so badly to pass Bill Belichick because I love his personality.
Yeah, I do like Andy Reid.
I mean, this is no offense to Bill Belichick at all. And I know people are going to flip out because I know that my Patriot fans went nuts on me when I said something about Tom Brady years ago. But if constipation was a human being, it would be Bill Belichick.
Oh my God.
And people know what I mean. That's the sad part. And it's like, I just want him to smile. Just smile, okay? And admit the fact that you need Tom Brady. He needs Tom Brady. Tom can do it without, and with all due respect, if you want me to go on the other side of this, Tom Brady got a new face. That's not his face. That's a different face. He got a Hollywood face. So, it's like Bill Belichick, kind of the gnome that guards the lawn or the troll that guards the bridge. And then you have Tom Brady, whose face has adjusted itself over time periods. But all joking aside, Bill Belichick right now, greatest coach ever. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever. I really want Pat Mahomes, but it's like I like Pat Mahomes' personality more. And Andy Reid is just Andy Reid looks like if he wasn't coaching football, he would be sitting down watching football, loving it with his family, and just being an awesome guy. Bill Belichick doesn't open his mouth when he speaks, and it's so bothersome because it's like, what are you saying? But Andy Reid, he's like, what did he say after the Super Bowl? He looks at the broadcaster, he goes, "I could kiss you right now."
Yeah,
and I was like, this man is like he's like the Doug Flutie in Buffalo. He's like every man's man, just a cool dude. He's got a sense of humor. He has fun. And again, folks, this is all jokes. I know in 2023, joking is canceled, but we are joking about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I respect them both tremendously. I just like the personality of Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes more.
Yeah, I do like Andy Reid, and he's mentored. Talk about mentoring. He's had quite a few of those coaches that are now in the NFL that have worked under him. Sean McDermott and Nick Sirianni. There's quite a few out there. So I do like Andy Reid, and I'm happy for him. And sometimes you gotta leave a place to get to what your goal is. And he was great for Philadelphia, but they could never win the Super Bowl with him, right? I don't think he didn't win a Super Bowl there.
Oh, he got there.
Yeah,
he got there with McNabb.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Halftime show, commercials. Fan, not a fan?
I did like the halftime show. I like Rihanna. Commercials, it's hard for me to stay focused. I'm always on my phone and I'm always texting my siblings, So, but I did pay attention to a few of them, but I should have paid attention to more. I went online to see which ones were the best ones, just to see if I had even seen any of them during the games.
Well, I will tell you that I remember these. I remember none of the last couple of years. I remember the WhatsApp that they don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Dilly Dilly, but in the Clydesdales. But this year, the dog growing old with you, which almost made me cry. There was
I remember that one.
What commercial is this? Miller Lite or Coors Light? And it was a Blue Moon commercial. That was cool. The commercial with Ben Affleck working at Dunkin' Donuts. And
I did see that one. That was a good one.
Coming through.
I like that one. Yeah.
And he looked at the one guy and he's like, "Do I look familiar?" And the guy was like, "No." And then J-Lo came through and she goes, "This is what you say you're doing when you're working."
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. I liked that one. There's a few of them. So I would say probably all of those. And I love the fact that there was commercials about Jesus and faith. And I was like, for real? Like, we're actually going to admit something good. So, I mean, that was nice to see those commercials too, that showed like all of these pictures and moments of hate and saying like, God loves the people that you hate. Like, we should learn how to love each other. So I thought those were good messages. And, Rihanna went out there and did her thing. Do I think it was like the best show? No, but I will say this. Rihanna's platform suspended above the air that was glass was less slippery than the actual field itself. That field was
That's crazy.
I would rather be Rihanna above that field than ever put my foot on that field.
They were showing all the cleats that the guys were doing. I know. I can't believe they did that.
It was awful. So a final note here, Miss Castelli.
Yeah.
Going back to UAlbany this season, you're up at the top of the America East. There's a lot to be had here now, coming toward the end of the regular season into the postseason. Yeah. So I have a two-parter here. UAlbany moving forward, what's the message that you want to say to the community of people that have supported you and to the team itself? So if you had to just give a universal message on this season, what would it be? And you just went up against my other good friend, Beth Ann Shapiro-Ord of Binghamton. So I'd love to get your thoughts on the Bearcats.
Yeah. Well, the Bearcats, that was a really good game. It was a tough game. They score a lot, so you have to really defend them. They were missing one of their best players. So, we beat them in overtime, but she's got a good team and she's going to have a really good team in the next few years with, her young kids that she has. And I know she had a good recruiting season. So I love Beth, I've known her for a long time and she's always very gracious and just a sweetheart. So always pulling for her too. So, as far as the community, even at the game, we've had so many things happen. Like I said, without the SFQ Arena, the HBCC is now our home court. So I can't thank the community enough for coming out and watching us play. We had close to 1,000 people at that game against Binghamton. And, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to market, especially when you're playing at a totally different arena, students not always coming, and they came, and the band. And so, we're getting good amount of support, which, I can't thank the community enough for that. And as far as our team goes, I mean, honestly, I said it to the team a couple weeks ago, just how many great lessons I've learned from them, the resiliency that they've had coming off of injuries. Again, all these other things that we've had to adjust to, and never once making excuses. I've never heard an excuse from a kid on the team, where we're practicing, what we're doing, being on the road, not having everybody, healthy. It's just been an amazing group of kids to be around. So I feel really lucky to be a part of it. And that's why I'm still staying in coaching, because I've just been so lucky to be a part of so many great groups of people. And this is another one. So that's my message.
I like it. Once again, Gina Castelli.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Of course. Executive Coach for Program Development and Player Relations, UAlbany Great Danes Women's Basketball, here on Wake Up Call inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. One of my favorite humans ever, Miss Gina Castelli. Thank you for believing in my vision, my mission, and that I was different years ago. And your level of support for me is unrivaled by many. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I don't forget people like you, and I'm very spoiled to continue to be able to have these conversations. So thank you for that.
You're a good man, Dan, and thank you for everything that you do, and everything that you're still doing for LeMoyne is just amazing. So really appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Zaczkowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for all that you do in connection with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So much appreciation, much love, and thank you so much for being a part of the show inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. You know Cafe Kubal is on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today. Fill your cup up right, as we do here on Wake Up Call, with some great tea, chai, coffee from the wonderful people at Cafe Kubal, led by Matt Goddard. Appreciate you so very much. With that being said, we want to thank you for tuning in every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT, WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, and on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. Once the shows go live, you can check them out in the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as others. All you have to do on any one of these outlets or on your search engine, search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or one word Wake Up Call DT on any one of these platforms. You can also go to any search engine, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Wake Up Call DT. You'll find us all throughout the world. Big shout out to our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the restaurant is the name of the location. Great Lakes Honda City, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. And we are proud to be your exclusive multimedia marketing partner for your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring AD and DT every first and third Wednesday of each month with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, you have the opportunity of connecting with your Dolphins inside a Dolphin Dive, student athletes, coaches, as well as administration, future Dolphins, and alumni here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find all of our AD and DT specials, including our exclusive series on realignment, reclassification, and all of our Dolphin Dive features by going to our LeMoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com and subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com /wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. How do you not dance to that music? You know, I mean, the answer is there is no way to not dance to it. You always do. Brian and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, bringing you the Bobcat Buzz every single month with student athletes and coaches for the men's and women's basketball teams, men's and women's soccer teams that have both won national championships, the inaugural baseball team, and many more things coming up, including esports. So appreciative to the Brian and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, allowing Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media the opportunity to give them coverage as they've never had it before. The Bobcat Buzz here with you on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Bookmark it, subscribe it, and love it forever. And subscribe to us on YouTube and search Bobcat Buzz, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for more information. Go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And I wanted to also give another shout out to our Cuse McMother and make sure that we have our spelling here all correct. So the Cuse McMother coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora that we are so happy to have. It's M-A-C, not not M-C. It's M-A-C. So the Cuse McMother is going to be with you exclusively on site, on location at Mother's Cupboard starting today. The Cuse McMother. Go out there and get it 7 days a week. Today is the first day, Wednesday, February 15th. The Cuse McMother is on sale. Get it now and appreciate it, love it, enjoy it. My spin on the breakfast sandwich. Cuse McMother, go and get it today. With that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning into the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Good morning to Mama. Happy Valentine's Day once again, everybody out there. Thank you to my parents for, even at 37 years old, making Valentine's Day make me feel like a kid again and feel so special and so loved. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. I love you both. Appreciate y'all. Love my little Dilly and all of my loved ones out there. So please be safe. Please be well. Big shout out to Adam Zaczkowski. Thanks for joining me from LeMoyne Swimming and Diving. Congratulations to their successful season that continues in the ECACs, maybe the NCAAs, hoping for the best. Thank you to Mother's Cupboard for allowing me the opportunity to not only create my own menu item, but to put it on the everyday menu, feature it, and to do something so special with such a staple of Syracuse, New York, of any business, not just restaurants. So thank you to Mother's Cupboard for your history, and thank you for letting me be a part of it with the Cuse McMother. Big thanks to Benny Williams and Jesse Edwards, as always, for allowing me the opportunity to share your stories, and of course to Gina Castelli, one of my best friends that I know in this wonderful world of sports. Love you, Gina, and I appreciate you so much. So, with that being said, I hope you all have a great day. Find us on the Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I don't know why I did that. I just want to have some fun. And of course, inside these Cafe Kubal studios, Witty Wicks, letting it smell all good in these Cafe Kubal studios. The Mother Fudger. I'm going to run this till the end because I bought another one. And I love these so very much. Folks, I got Witty Wicks candles everywhere here in the studio because we're always lighting them up, smelling good in the studio, helping out my allergies, getting that aroma, smelling the chocolate so I don't have to eat the chocolate, right? I just have chocolate in my life. So it's good. When you light a candle that smells like hot chocolate, you're saving the calories and smelling great things. So thanks to Witty Wicks for giving me my chocolate without having me eat the chocolate. The 315 Home Sweet Home signs, Cuse pillow, the 315 Syracuse pillow, all the ornaments and different things we have in here. If you want to deck out your studio, your office, or home the right way, if you love the 315, you love Syracuse, Central, and Upstate New York, get out to Witty Wicks, local company with local branded things, supporting local, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. Those of you out of town, wittywicks.com. We'll see you online, and we'll see you at the store right in front of Movie Tavern in Camillus, New York, 190 Township Boulevard. Facebook, again, Wake Up Call DT. Twitter at Call DT. Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I say them again because a lot of great things are coming up. We're going to now release the Cuse McMother to everybody now that you've heard it, for those of you that watch and listen live, because I take care of you guys first, right? And definitely want to shout out the Wildcat Sports Pub. Will be there tonight, Wednesday, February 15th, 6 p.m., with the very, very successful West Tennessee boys basketball team. Fred Kent and the crew will be joining me on stage at the Wildcat, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, right around the corner from Witty Wicks. We will see you there tonight. I know you're going to be coming out to this one. West Jenny's having a fantastic year, fantastic school, fantastic parents and guardians, fantastic student athletes and coaches. so many reasons to come out, grab some food, grab a drink, drink responsibly, and come out and see the show. So we look forward to seeing you tonight. And beyond that, I hope you have a fantastic